Hey youth, let me be real with you for a minute. I know a lot of you are going through some really hard things right now. Maybe your parents just got a divorce, you just got fired from your job, your best friend moved to New Zealand, and your goldfish drowned. I understand. That's happened to me too. But there's something I want you to understand. No matter what happens to you in life, no matter what you experience, God will never give you more than you can handle.
Whoa! God never said that. Hey youth, I'm Jordan, and today we're going to answer the question, why does God give you more than you can handle? Let's get started. If you've been around Christians for a while, odds are you've heard someone say that God will never give you more than you can handle. I mean, they mean well. They want you to know that God cares about you. If you're struggling or going through something hard, they want you to know that He's there for you. But the truth is that God never said He won't give you more than you can handle. In fact, God will give us more than we can handle. Sometimes life does get out of control. Some circumstances just happen, whether we want them to or not. We don't choose to have someone stir up drama about us at school or have our parents get divorced, and sometimes we're just blindsided by tragedy. When I was in high school, a friend of mine died unexpectedly, and it turned my whole world upside down. I had no idea how to cope with that kind of grief. Maybe some of you can relate to not knowing how to handle a situation and wondering why God would allow something like this to happen to you. So why does God allow that to happen? It's because God wants us to depend on Him. When you're given more than you can handle, you have no choice but to rely on God. Paul, who was a pastor in the early church in the Bible, had this in his life. He called it a thorn in his flesh. Now, we don't know exactly what Paul had. It could have been a kind of skin disease, but it was something that hindered him from preaching the gospel. And we see that he begged God 3 times to take it away. But here's how God replied. Each time God said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ can work through me." God wants us to trust in His power, just like Paul did. When I was in high school, I was really into sports. I mean, I lived for them. But halfway through my sports career, I suffered a devastating injury that just ended it. I didn't know how to cope with it. I wondered, why God, why would you do this to me? I mean, this is where I wanted my life to go. But instead of getting angry and turning away from those that I loved and turning away from God, I decided to trust Him that His plan was greater than mine. Another reason God gives us more than we can handle is because He wants us to help others who are overwhelmed. God gives you more than you can handle so that you can help others when they experience that same thing. He comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort God has given us. God has given you the ability to turn your pain or sin into something useful to love others around you. You see, when I was in high school, I made a lot of mistakes in my dating relationships. I'm not proud of that. But instead of hiding behind those mistakes, I allow God to use them to help others. I can now speak into the lives of those who are trying to figure out dating and how a relationship should look to honor God. Now, something else you should know is that you are not defined by your weaknesses, but by God. This means that when life is hard, you can be happy. Paul says, "That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong." You see, the more you turn to Jesus when you're struggling or experiencing hurt or are overwhelmed, the more Jesus can use your story to draw you closer to Him. You see, it can be hard to give yourself completely to God when life is easy. So we should rejoice when we experience struggles because it means we can learn to trust God more, experience His power, and help others.